Greetings. So today I'm going to show you on how to acquire an EC2 instance and then how to access it. So first of all, you need to search. If it's not in the recently visit, just type EC2. So then you click on it. Once you're redirected to the dashboard, you'll see an overview of the instances you have, elastic IPs, capacity reservations, snapshots, key pairs, etc. So instance is just a server. So currently we have 4 instances, but the ones which are running, we only have 1. So we are going to go to launch instance. So we'll just click on instances. Once you're here, you'll see the button in orange. So you click on launch instances. Once you click on launch instances, you type the name. You'll be taken to the page where you'll give the details on the instance you want. So you have to give a name for your instance. In this case, I'll call it a random name. So I'll call it that. And then here you're supposed to look for the server, the OS that you want. So you can take Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, etc. In this case, I'll take Ubuntu because it's simpler to work with, plus it's cheaper. So I'll pick Ubuntu. Once you do that, now you can come and pick once you pick that, you can come and pick the instance type. So instance type basically explains on an instance type determines the memory and let's say the storage that the capacity. No, it determines the memory, yeah, and the CPU that you can have. In this case, I'm going to take a T3 micro. So we have a nano, which is a little bit has less memory, but in this case, I'll just take a micro for illustration purposes. After I do that, you can decide to select a key pair that already exists. Alternatively, you can just create a new one. I'll advise that you always create a new one. So create new key pair. You can enter the name. Ideally, just put the name, enter the name that you call the server. And then after that, you click on create key pair. It will be downloaded on your browser. So I'll show you what to do with it afterwards. So once you have that, you can allow SSH traffic. Basically, ideally, you should only allow a specific IP to access it. In this case, I'll just leave it at anywhere for ease. Then you can also allow HTTPS and allow HTTP. However, you don't have to do it. You can opt to do it later on, but ensure you always click on allow SSH. If you don't, and you don't have access to the console, then it will be a nightmare for you. So for storage, I'll just take 8 GB. We don't need much. So you always have like 30 GB of free tier, so you can always utilize it. We'll leave advanced details, so we'll just launch. Once you launch, you wait for it. It will tell you successfully. You can click on the ID right there. Once you click on that, you're able to see the instance itself. Let's click on the instance ID. So you can see you have your public IP address, you have your private, you have that it is running, and so on and so forth. And you can see the details, status, and alarms. You can monitor it. You can change the security settings. You can look at the network. You can look at the storage attached to it, and so on and so forth. In this case, we want to connect. So connect. So to connect, we have several options. Number one, you can connect using the browser. So this is how you connect using the browser. You can just click on instance connect, then you click on connect. So it will establish connection, and via we have access to a server. So we can run LS and so on and so forth. So whenever you get into a server, the first command is you update, and then you update the packages, and then after that you you also upgrade. So upgrade and update. Then, so I'll also show you another way of accessing it using your terminal. So I have an Ubuntu WSL right here. So when we click on the what was downloaded, we can check where it is in the storage. We can see it's over here. So I know it's in downloads, so I will take it to my Linux. You can run it from anywhere, it doesn't matter. So in this case, I'll just take it to my home in Ubuntu, and then let me just paste it there in my home. Then I will access it from the terminal. Once we are here, we can see that we have a file here, so server.pem. I'm going to remove the identifier. Now, remember, when you look at the instructions over here, you will see that you're told click on connect, then SSH client. You'll see that you have been told change the mode so that you change the permissions, yeah? So it's not publicly viewable. So I'll click on that, and then I will run that. So I have to run it in elevated mode. Once I have that, it has changed successfully. So you can see we have the correct permissions. So if you don't understand about permissions, you can just check them on file permissions in Linux. After that, we now connect. Now I'm going to click on that. However, you have to run it in elevated mode. So sudo, then you paste that. Then I'm going to enter. Once I enter, it will ask you about the fingerprint. You say yes. And then now Viola, we are in the server. So that's how you access it. So I'm going to exit, and I'm going to close that. So that's how you fire up a server, and I'm going to close it if you're not using it. So I'm going to instant state, and then I'm going to stop the instance. So stop it. So you'll see instance state stopping, and you can no longer access it. So for the connect, you can see here it's saying power off, but it had already accessed us. So you can access using the browser. However, some instances, for instance, for example, when you conjure a server like a Fedora, or let's say CentOS, you'll find that you cannot access it using the browser. So you always have to use a client that is a terminal or so, or yeah, but not the browser. So thank you, and cheers.